Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to episode 1 of SG Sports Uncut. I'm your host, Raj Kumar. And on this new talk show, we'll help to create more shared experiences and help the fans get even closer to our Team Singapore athletes, the games, and the local sporting communities. So with the SEA Games in just about 5 weeks from now in the Philippines, for the next 6 shows, we're going to profile our Team Singapore athletes and coaches as they prepare to represent Team Singapore. On today's episode, we're going to focus on water polo and Cuesports. So in this first half of the show, we're going to feature Cuesports. And representing Cuesports is the 6-time Billiards world champion, Peter Gilchrist. He's joined today with his snooker compatriot, a SEA Games gold medalist from 2009. His name is Marvin Lim. And completing the lineup is Sharik Sayed. He's a pool expert and he's going to make his debut at the SEA Games. All right, Peter, let's first begin with you. I mean, it's been more than a month since you became the world billiards champion for the 6th time in your career. I assume you're already accustomed to that special winning feeling?
Yeah, well, it's more than I could ever expect winning it 6th time. I think that the 2nd time I won it, I was just so pleased at winning that. And it's only afterwards when people said, "Oh, you've won it 6 times." It's special. Am I used to it? I'm more used to losing. I think as a player, you're always a loser. I was having a chat with Sharik yesterday about this, and nobody wins more than 50% of the time. Right. If you're winning things 20% of the time, you're doing a fantastic job. So, yeah, it's just nice when you win, because you lose so many times. It's just an added bonus when you win, really.
Okay. Was this recent campaign in the United Kingdom any different from the previous 5 World Championships that you won over the years?
Well, I trained there in the UK, with my coach Stuart Green. So we worked on a few technical aspects of my game, and so it was right. So when I went to Melbourne for the World Championship, felt good. My father came along as well, so I had that support, and everything just fit into place, really.
Okay. Let's turn our brief attention to our snooker specialist, Marvin Lim, and he's been representing Singapore since our national team, since the SEA Games in 2009 when you won the gold medal.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll come to that in a moment, but first, could you tell us how has 2019 been for you so far?
2019, as I'm still a full-time coach, in the midst of my coaching daily, I went through like SEA Games selections, and then I got top of it, and started to travel a little bit over the years. As in this year, to compete, and then eventually now preparing just 1 month later on, we'll be going for SEA Games. So pretty occupied with my time.
Okay, and what was your best moment of the year, albeit in your sports career or even in your personal life?
I would say in August this year, watching a video that is released by this our local production called our grandfather story. Our grandfather story, local production. It is video clips of about 4 minutes where I'm featured on Snooker and Me. Right, and it talks about the history of snooker, the scene in the past and now. So when I look at it, I just felt, wow, okay, this is something maybe 20 years later when I take a look at it, it will feel so different from now. Okay. So that is very, very memorable thing for me this year.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. We now hear from a rising star in Cuesports. His name is Sharik Sayed. And Sharik specializes in the element of pool. So a similar question to you, Sharik, as to how have the last 11 months of 2019 been for you so far as we approach the Southeast Asian Games?
The last 11 months have been pretty good for me. I've played in a couple of major events, such as the World 9-Ball Championship and the World Cup of Pool, and also some small events such as like US Open qualifiers. Overall, I would say I've won matches where I wasn't the favorite, and I've lost matches where I was the favorite. So I feel like it's going pretty well.
Okay. Now, for the benefit of our audience watching or even listening to the show, could you briefly explain the difference between pool, snooker, and billiards?
Sure. So pool is played with slightly bigger balls. It's a 9-foot table, and the pockets are bigger as well. But whereas for snooker, the table is 12 feet. and the balls are smaller. And in snooker, there's a total of 21 balls, 15 reds and 6 colors.
Right.
And it goes by a point system, the scoring. And English billiards is played on a snooker table as well, but it's a yellow ball, a red ball, and a white ball.
Right.
And it also uses a point system, but the points are counted differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as you mentioned, you and your teammate, I believe, Aloysius, competed in the World Cup of Pool back in July. Perhaps you can tell us how that campaign went for the both of you. This was your debut in the World Cup of Pool.
Right, definitely. So it was a great event. It was my first time playing on the TV table and TV lights. We didn't do as well as we expected to, but it was a great learning experience for me because I learned how to handle playing under TV settings and also getting used to the pressure. So I think it's a great preparation and build up for the SEA Games.
So specifically for the SEA Games, what is that crucial element or that crucial experience that you can take from that?
Handling playing when there's many people watching you.
Right.
And also I'm sure the conditions are brand new cloth and brand new balls. It's different from our daily practice where we play on older cloth.
Okay.
So
Peter, we come back to you, and the World Championship campaign in Melbourne just a few weeks ago saw 6 billiards world champions in contention. Thus, what would you say was the one element or that crucial edge you had over the other title contenders? I mean, 6 world champions.
Yeah, I think I had a really good campaign this year. You know, I've won all the big tournaments this year. Won like six out of the 7. The other one was a small tournament, so
right.
I went in there in really good form, and you know, winning becomes a habit. So obviously, winning all those tournaments, having the best year I've ever had, miles clear at number 1 in the rankings. I was going there. I was probably the man in form, and maybe the other 6 world champions were maybe worried a little bit more about me than what I was about them, and that might have been the edge.
Okay. What can you say about your coach, Stuart Green? Could you briefly just share?
Yeah, Stuart's really important to me. He was a great player himself. You know, he played in the Teesside Boys Billiards League. He was a really good snooker player, and also plays another form of pool, the 8-ball pool. But he stopped playing. About competitively about 10 years ago. He had a bereavement in his family. That took his mind off the competitive side, and he just went into the coaching side, and he's very good at all aspects of coaching, and when I'm with him, he can just spot various little things that he thinks I might be doing wrong. We'll have a little chat about it, we'll work on it, and he's just been so important to me.
Okay. Coming back to Marvin, your very first SEA Games gold medal was in 2009, just 10 years ago. You won the gold. From then till now in 2019, this would be your 8th SEA Games campaign. Do you feel the level of regional competition, especially in Southeast Asia, has increased in terms of the standards of play, as well as the quality of or the caliber of your opponents?
I mean, over these years of SEA Game, looking at it, I think the standard is pretty much rising. Okay, and the players are not really new, but they are experienced, and then they are players who are don't really fumbles on pressure shots, big shots. So there are fewer mistakes allowed in every of our frames. So it becomes very tight in every of the games. So overall, it's just not just new players who comes in and knock the hell out of us, but I think the experience counts that accumulate over the time.
Okay. So in terms of snooker, are we the number 1 powerhouse in the field so far as the region is concerned? If not, which country has the top snooker players in the region?
I would not say we are the only powerhouse for snooker. The really competing with us is Malaysia and Thailand, that has been ongoing for years.
Yeah.
But not forgetting last SEA Game, Laos won the single snooker.
Wow.
Okay, and I heard that this player, he actually lives and trains in Thailand. So, but he plays for Laos.
Right.
So there are other countries like Myanmar, also good players coming. So not forgetting those players. But I think what is important is our own play at that time.
Okay. Now come Manila 2019, the SEA Games in about 5 weeks from now, you'll be battling for glory in both the singles and doubles snooker competition.
Yeah.
How would you describe your doubles partner, Kingsley Ang, and his style of play?
Oh, Kingsley, like what Peter says, he used to call Tommy. Yes, I partnered him for many years now. He's running business, so I believe he adapt a bit of that character. On the snooker table, he take calculated risks. At the same time, he's very bold. When he want to take on the shots, he never look back. So that is a very good part when we are playing in a big stage competition.
So besides the Laotian champion, where do you see your other main challenges coming from in the battle for the gold?
I would still say Malaysia and Thailand, because they are very they have a lot of players who are very experienced. So they always been like the possible champions or the gold medalists in the snooker single or double.
Okay, Sharik, we'll come to you now. This is your very first SEA Games campaign. How have you been preparing for this challenge in the pool doubles?
I've actually been doing lots of drills myself individually because I need to do a lot of self-practice, and my partner is also doing a lot of practice by himself. And then we're sparring with the other Singaporean team who will be participating in the SEA Games as well. And on top of that, we just went to Taiwan recently for some training. And so we went there to spar with players from Taiwan for like 2 weeks. And they won most of the top players in the world play in Taiwan. So it was a good practice for us.
So where are you expecting the main opposition to glory the SEA Games?
It's definitely going to be the home country, team Philippines. Philippines is known as the Mecca of pool, and they have at least 20 to 30 really strong players that could contend to play in the SEA Games. Also, but not forgetting Vietnam's playing really well now. And also, Vietnam has a pretty strong player. His name is Duong Kok Hong. So he'll be coming to the SEA Games as well.
And just out of curiosity, is there a specific reason you're not competing in the singles event? I mean, you're in the 10 ball.
So actually, I am playing in the singles event as well. It's the 10 ball singles.
It's the 10 ball singles. So there's another.
So I'm playing a 10 ball singles event and a 9 ball doubles event.
Right. Okay. Hence, what would this is your first outing representing the Republic at regional games. What is the personal target you've set for yourself?
I definitely want to win the gold medal. I know there's many favorites in the event, but I believe in myself, and I'm sure I can bring my best game to the event.
They've got a sneaky smile from two counterparts. We'll come to 6-time world champion Peter Gilchrist. You became a Singapore citizen in 2006. Since then, you've gone to represent the Republic, in several SEA Games campaigns. Manila 2019 will be your 8th campaign, I believe. But given the fact that you are a 5-time consecutive gold medalist at the SEA Games, you, sir, surely will be the man to beat. Would you agree? I mean,
I definitely agree. He's one of the best at his sport, and he's won so many titles. He's won almost everything he's played in, so I think he's in good form. And if he keeps it up, I think the gold medal is definitely in sight.
Marvin, what do you think? 6-time consecutive gold medal.
Faith in him.
Okay, and Peter, yourself?
I don't have as much confidence as what Sharik does. Sharik's going to win the gold, no problem. His first attempt, it's fantastic. I wish I had that confidence, but he is a very good player, and Marvin is as well. We've all got good chances, but it's all about how you play on the day. Obviously, the training leading up to it's very important, and I think we're all going in there thinking we've got good chances. So it should be good for Cuesports.
The World Championships last month was a 5-hour affair in the grand final, but in Manila, it's a shortened format. Could you kindly explain how is the format at the coming SEA Games?
It's so the world final, it was 5 hours. The one who scores the most after 5 hours wins the game, and I think it was 1,350 to about 900 against my final opponent, who was an Indian player. And in the SEA game, it's only best of 5 at 100 points up. So it could be all over in 20-25 minutes. And the players that I'm up against, the Thailand players, the Myanmar players, they're all capable of making 100 breaks. So, you know, you could. I've been very fortunate to win the last 5. You know, there's been times when I've been 2-1 down in the final, and just managed to get over the line. You know, took the next 2 frames. The last one was my best one in Kuala Lumpur. I didn't lose a frame. You know, I won every game 3-0. So that all went to plan. But I know that that's not going to happen this time. In Manila, I'm going to be tested. You know, the players there, like I say, they can all make 100 breaks. So although I will be favourite, I don't make myself a massive favourite.
Okay, but who would you say is your biggest threat for the goal? 6 goal.
There's a Thai player called Rom Sarin, who's a fantastic player. He's won the World Amateur Snooker and the World Amateur Billiards Championship before. The Myanmar player is a guy called Nath Weu, and another one called Chit Koko. They're very, very good players, and if I'm not 100%, I will get beat.
Okay. Now that we've heard from all 3 of you regarding the SEA Games, let's briefly touch on Cuesports Singapore, which is the National Sports Association. Peter, you were a former national coach yourself. So who's the current coach of the national team, and what can you tell us about him?
Well, Marvin is the coach of the snooker. Now he's doing a really good job, the development of the game.
Right.
I think Sharik does a bit of coaching as well.
Okay.
There's not that many players coming through on the English billiards for some reason. It's a game that takes a lot of time. You know, I can remember I played my first World Championship final when I was 20. I've been playing 8 years, and I look back on that video sometimes. It was in Australia, funnily enough, in 1989. And although I'd been playing the game for 8 years, I look back and I was an absolute novice. You know, I got to the final, so 8 years of playing maybe 5-6 hours a day, and I was still no good at the game. So I can understand the problems of getting young players to try to get into English billiards, because it just takes so long. Whereas pool, it's a little bit easier, you know, bigger pockets, smaller table. Although it's still a very good tactical game, it's very difficult to be good at. English billiards just takes a lot longer.
Yeah. Marvin, what can you tell us about the Cuesports Singapore Academy, which opened its doors 2 years ago, and it's a training hub for our national athletes?
Yeah. The Cuesports Academy is at this Katong Shopping Centre now. We have like 3 snooker table and 8 pool table, where we already host quite a number of local and like regional events. If that place is, I mean, although it's like 2 years, sometime when I go there, I still feel new, okay, and friendly, and there's always a sense of belonging, maybe the people there. And of course, it will be great if we have a bigger place, so we have more tables and the competition will be a bit shorter, okay, in terms of the running period. Okay, but overall, I think it's a good place for conducive training for our national players.
And what can you say about the sport when it comes to youth development in schools today?
In polytechnics and universities, they already have like pool teams and snooker teams. As for like secondary school, we do have this program called the Fun and the Touch Cube. Okay, it's a 3-hour program for schools to send their students to learn or have on hand of this game, okay, pool, snooker and billiards, okay, and so that they get a better impression and develop interest. So in the near future, more schools will be more open up for like CCAs of these sports.
Okay, Sharik, you've had the benefit of studying and competing in the United States. What would you say is the main difference between the level of youth development in the States and here in Singapore?
I would say that the youth in USA develop at a much quicker rate, just because there's a lot of tournaments for them to participate in.
Okay.
And also due to the demographics, they have much more players in any single event. So, and they also get the benefit of foreign players traveling to the US to play those events, whereas not many players internationally come to Singapore to play events. So I guess the youth grow much more quickly and gain their experience compared to Singapore junior players.
Okay, and in terms of sponsors, is Cuesports Singapore contented with the support which they're currently getting?
I would say they're happy but not contented, because I think more sponsors would never hurt any association.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'd like to give a shout out to some of our sponsors, Predator Qs, the Tongin Group, the Q Shop, and Cuesports Singapore themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the team does extremely well in the SEA Games, you never know.
Yeah.
Even newer sponsors might come on board, especially 2020 onwards. We've come to the tail end of the show, but just before we go, this was a request. I mean, to each of you to bring something that is personal and significant to either your career or your personal life. Sharik, we'll start with you. What did you bring for us?
For me, it's just this thermal shirt that I love to wear underneath my tournament clothing,
Right.
because it keeps me warm. Because when I'm nervous, I tend to get cold, and this keeps me warm, and I just perform better when I wear this.
It's your lucky thermal shirt.
Yeah.
Your inner shirt.
Yes, my inner shirt.
Okay. What does it say?
It's my old school logo. It's Lindenwood Lions.
This is the one that
From
is
the
in
US.
the United States.
Yes,
Lindenwood Lions.
that's it.
Okay, nice.
Thank you.
Marvin, what do you
Mine
bring
is smaller. Okay, I'm a Buddhist. I have these amulets. Okay, where I put inside my Q case. It symbolizes like warrior. Okay, fighting and give bravery and courage.
Right.
Okay, and if you take notice, there's a short this little thing at the base. This is to signify like like warrior or those mountain climber when they conquer a mountain, then they have that flag on
Yeah.
the ground. Okay, this is something to talk about having conquer that place or that match.
Or the challenge.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Marvin. Peter, what have you brought for us?
I know, I said to the guys earlier on, I said, if it was top trumps, I think I've just out-trumped
Something
yourself.
small.
I mean, he's gone with divine intervention. He's gone with.
Yeah, but this is
Yeah. Oh, he's getting,
this is actually the
oh no.
This is actually the oldest World Championship trophy
I think,
in the world.
yeah.
It precedes the Claret Jug in the British Open golf, and also it's 5 years older than the Wimbledon singles tennis. So it's solid silver, and it was made in 1876. So I couldn't really think of anything else to bring other than that.
So you now own this.
For 12 months, but hopefully I'll own it. Yeah, so I'll keep on winning it. Hopefully, that's the plan. But
Do you
yeah,
get to keep it after like winning, like in football?
No.
After you win 3 in a
No, you
row,
don't.
you get to keep.
Yeah, no, it's just every 12 months it's got to be given back. So it's going to be quite sad if I've got to give that back. It's in the cricket club at the moment. It's
in the cricket club?
Yeah, because it's to keep it in my apartment. Although my daughter said that I should just keep it in my apartment. She really likes it. I said it'll just be safer because it's worth a fortune. So it's better, in a glass cabinet in the cricket club where I'm a member.
Okay. On that winning note, I think we've come to the end of this fantastic edition of part 1 of SG Sports Uncut with our Cuesports team. We've got Sharik Sayed representing us in pool. We've got Marvin Lim in snooker, and of course, a 6-time world champion in billiards. He's gunning for his 6th singles consecutive gold medal in billiards. We wish you guys, as well as the rest of your teammates, the very best in Manila, and do Singapore proud.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on board the first episode of SG Sports Uncut. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now throw the spotlight on water polo, and joining us in this segment is the head coach of the men's national team, Dejan Milakovic. He's joined by the vice captain, Lee Kai-young, and completing the lineup is the women's team captain, Koh Ting Ting. Okay, Coach Dejan, let's first begin with you. It's coming to almost 3 years in your time as the national coach of Singapore's men's water polo squad. How would you describe your 3 years so far?
I say exciting, right? So we start from almost ground zero, and the best about it, I can see my players rising and becoming better day by day. By saying that, the results are coming also in these years, and maybe not so many official results because we don't have much chance to play. But I can say by the teams that are coming to Singapore and our performance against this team, definitely that's the most exciting thing that I'm having here, and of course joining some young players to the team that is something that is important for the future, and hopefully their growth in the next years or even decade.
Okay, you were originally from Serbia. Wow, what a tongue twister. 3 years staying here in the Lion City. Which is your favorite food, local food, and why?
I say laksa, definitely, right?
Laksa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why
maybe,
laksa?
Maybe that's a bit strange. Everybody asks me the same.
Yeah.
But
So why laksa?
but I mean the taste, the flavor, everything so fantastic, that even my wife and I is just enjoying every time eating it, especially at the East Coast,
Right.
Yeah.
I think you were going to say laksa, that's why I started to stumble. Well, now 3 weeks ago, our men's team competed at the FINA Challengers Cup, presented by TYR Tier, and in front of the home crowd at the OCBC Aquatic Centre, Team Singapore were crowned champions. How did it feel to win this event for the very first time?
It was fantastic, I think. Right. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that came that day. There was a lot of people, and the atmosphere was really beautiful, I can say, right?
Yeah.
I think for the players and for myself, it's a great motivation to keep up like that, and to have that positive motivation looking to the SEA Games that soon are coming. And also, Singapore played this competition in the past, and definitely this is the best ever result that we made, right?
Lee Kai-young, vice captain of the men's team, let's come to you next and get your thoughts first on the recent tournament. And Team Singapore opened their campaign with a 26-5 win over Zimbabwe. What did you think of the first game?
I mean, we were definitely confident with our own abilities, but at the same time, as coach has mentioned, and within the team we know that you don't go into a game expecting a win. You got to do the right things right from the start. Being the first game of the competition, there were definitely some miscommunication, some mistakes that were made, but I think the guys managed to show throughout the entire competition that we were able to progress with each game. Yeah,
especially in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, after the opening game, our next opponents were just from across the causeway, and that match against Malaysia, our traditional rivals, turned out to be another whitewash, as the final score read 25 in our favour. What was the game plan going into that game, Kaya?
Again, we wanted to focus on what we've been training with coach the entire time. We definitely had certain discussions and things that we wanted to work on that weren't going too well for us in the first game. We went in again with the confidence that if we played together and we played well, that the result will be in our favour. We constantly told each other to not focus on the scoreline, but to really take each ball as its own and to play for each goal from there. Yeah.
Okay. And what can you say about our team's top scorer, Lee Cheng Kang, who scored 13 goals in just 2 games? 13.
We always like to say all he does is shoot and shoot and shoot, but ultimately you can play all sorts of fantastic team offense, but the aim of the game is to put the ball in the net, right? And it's good to have a teammate like him that loves just to do that, Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear now from our women's team captain. Her name is Koh Ting Ting. Ting Ting, I believe you caught the men's match between Singapore and Ireland. That was our final group match, and the score was 11-8 to Singapore. What did you think of their performance?
I think they did really well. I think Singapore also scored the first goal of the day, which was really important for a team match like this because it sets the mood and sets the morale for the rest of the game.
Right.
So,
and to settle the nerves.
Yes, that's right. So I think they carried out pretty well and won the group stage. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So 3 wins out of 3, and watching from the stands, Ting Ting, at that point in time, what was your overall opinion or your take of the Singapore team?
I think I'm happy for them, and I think they did really well. It really gave confidence for them to win the overall championship, I think.
Yeah.
And we were quite excited, like we want to watch on Sunday. Yeah, when Sunday is actually our training day. And we fortunately we did went down to catch the finals.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Coach Dejan, what was your game plan going into the grand final against the tournament's top seed, Austria?
But first of all, to stay calm and focus on our defense. That was the key. So they had let's say, typical European style of play with lot of duel. They're quite bigger than us. So the key was to control the defense, but with that confidence that even Kayan gave us, he played a fantastic game. We had a few good shots from outside, especially in the first 2 quarters. And I mean, we were just going quarter by the quarter. Later on, nothing was changing except that the boys became a bit tired, maybe a bit even nervous because it was very tough physical game, especially from side of Austrian team. But at the end, from the beginning till the end, the plan was the same. Just to focus on defense, protecting our goal, having the.
But were you surprised to see the boys leading 6-2 at halftime?
Honestly, no, because when I saw how the game started, we really controlled them almost every time when they were attacking us. So we were, let's say, very confident in attack when we went there and calm, without any kind of fear that they can surprise us with anything. Let's say, coming back to our defense. I think that was the key. That was the key of that final game.
Okay, Kayan, what did Coach Dejan tell you at halftime during the grand final when you were up 6-2?
To be honest, I don't remember the exact words of what he told us at halftime, but he definitely was still extremely focused on our game plan, right? Reminded us that what we were doing was working, but at the moments where we lost focus was where we were giving them a chance, and we were trying to just refocus on those points, right? And push the effort that we've been giving all the way to the end of the game, because ultimately you need the same amount of effort to sustain all the way.
So after the break, the team went on to win 8-6 and won this event in only the second appearance in the final. And Anjun was named the MVP, most valuable player of the tournament. So your overall thoughts on winning this event in front of the home crowd?
First of all, I think Anjun winning the MVP for the tournament is just again a testament to how talented he is as a player, and how versatile he is as a player as well. And not only that, he is also unofficially like a senior and a leader that the team looks for guidance as well. Playing in front of a home crowd, the home crowd that we had on the final day, it was amazing. The last time I played in front of such a morale boosting home crowd was actually the 2015 SEA Games, where it was also in Singapore. But this time it was a bit different, especially for a few of us that are coaching in terms of the youth level. We had a lot of the kids that we were coaching that were in the crowd shouting our names, right? And that was something special. It even made me a bit more relaxed and a bit happy in the game, which was not normal.
Ting Ting, let's shift the focus for a little bit to the women's national team. You're the team captain for the coming SEA Games. You'll be making your debut as well. Firstly, how do you feel with less than 1 month to your debut?
Actually, I'm pretty excited, and our team actually consists of a lot of new players, and it will be their debut too. We only have 3 seniors players who stayed on since the last SEA Games. So it's gonna be exciting, and can't wait to play this November.
And how has this year been for you and your teammates in terms of preparations for the SEA Games?
It's been really well. We got our association support thanks to them. We had a lot of experience and exposure in terms of gameplay and sparring sessions with overseas teams. We went over to Greece, Serbia, who are very popular in water polo. We played with them, sparred with them for a couple of weeks, and we even went over to our neighboring country, Indonesia, where Jakarta invited us for a Jakarta Invitational competition. and I'm glad that we won for that match.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes.
And who would you say has been in top form on a consistent basis this year in terms of performance for all these training stints?
I think in team sports, it's
It's the whole
everyone's
team.
effort. Yeah,
Okay.
correct. Because someone has to pass out the ball in order to put the ball into the goal. So it's really a team effort in order to be consistent in the games.
Spoken like a true team captain. So, for you personally, you were a national swimmer more than 10 years ago, and then you transitioned to water polo. What led you to make that change?
Within this 10 years, actually, it's a very long, period of time. I actually find a few sports to capitalize on my swimming ability. Things like aquathlon, biathlon, triathlon, but it doesn't work out. So I wanted to find a sport where I have companionship. So I had friends in water polo, and also my sister is in water polo too. So I guess the environment actually helped me to get around it better. And the basic for water polo is the ability to swim. So there I am, water polo.
Is your sister still with the team, or
Yes, she's in the team.
in the current team?
Yes.
And you are the team captain.
Yes.
That's going to be interesting to see the dynamics. Well, our Singapore women's team won the inaugural gold medal at the 2011 Southeast Asian Games in Palembang. I was there to see you guys getting crowned, as well as you guys as well. And after that moment, women's water polo did not feature in 2013, the SEA Games, but it made a comeback, as Kayang mentioned, in 2015 when we hosted the Games. Unfortunately though, Thailand proved just too strong. They won the gold, 2015. 2 years later in Kuala Lumpur, once again, Singapore has settled for the silver medal finish. Your thoughts on the team's performances in the last two campaigns?
I think our seniors are good in their own rights. So, in skills-wise, technique-wise, they are really good at it.
Yeah.
So, in everyday life, or even in sports, you have good days, bad days. So it might be just one of the bad days that the game was happening. And in sports, a lot of factors can happen. Things like your mental state of mind, your physical ability, maybe
Home crowd.
Home crowd, main player was down, things like that. So the history is just the past, and we will just look forward to the future. Yeah.
Coach Dejan, let's come back to you. And it's crunch time once again, as you now have the unenviable task to ensure that we remain the kings of Southeast Asian water polo come the SEA Games next month. So with 1 month to go, how are things looking for the squad?
It's looking pretty well. I mean, for me, most important that nobody's injured. Everybody can train full with a full capacity. Currently, we are having common training with Iran national team, which is a great opportunity to us to fix all the problems that we let's say saw after the Challengers Cup, and we are really working on them hard, and they will be here until the 5th of November, and that will be, let's say, final stage of the preparation for the SEA Games. But all that on side, I think the whole year, it's a mindset is the same. We know that we will need to go there and fight for our place, and we have to be prepared for any game that will come. And if we have that positive mindset that this tournament gave us, I don't promise anything, but it should be okay.
Kayang, with 2 Asian Games campaigns already under your belt and 2 SEA Games gold medals in your name, how important is it for your team to maintain the winning streak and win the 28th consecutive SEA Games gold medal? Undefeated since 1965.
I think all the players definitely know the history behind SEA Games and SEA Games water polo. But ultimately, we don't really see it as continuing the streak. I think she said it perfectly, where the history is in the past, right? And that
anything can happen.
Yes, anything can happen in the next competition. We definitely want to continue the tradition, right? But there's no use putting your focus on what has already happened, right? What we are focusing on is what we're doing in the swimming pool with coach, with the sparring that we have, with the communication with each other. right? And those are the things that we want to focus on as we do our final preparations for the SEA Games. Yeah.
Would you say the Indonesians are your only main threat to the gold medal in Clark? Clark as in the Philippines?
I would say that, as I've mentioned at the start, when you go into any competition, you really need to focus on every game that you have at hand, every opponent that you are going to play, right? And as she has mentioned before, you can have bad days, right? You don't want that to happen for sure, right? And to make sure that doesn't happen, you have to focus on every opponent that is coming up, right? And you take one game at a time.
And probably never underestimate any opponent.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Ting Ting, who will most likely pose as the biggest challenges to the gold for the women this time round?
I think Thailand. Because I mean they have been winning for the past two SEA Games, but I mean this year will be interesting because our new team has new strategies. Things have been changing. We don't play as static as what our seniors used to play. So it'll be interesting. We'll see who will battle for the gold medal.
Okay. Can you tell us how your coach Lee Sai-ming, who is a former captain, former star of the men's team, how has he been working and preparing your squad?
He's been very resourceful. He's been giving us a lot of advice and also training up our skills, techniques leading up to this competition, and also giving us a lot of opportunities to explore what are the things that we can learn from him. It's really good.
Kayam, I know we just spoke about this, about the proud record that we have. I think it could possibly be Singapore's proudest sporting record because it's an unbeaten streak, well over 50 years. So, I mean, mindsets wise, I'm sure, the team, you all probably have certain exercises as to how to deal with the pressure. I mean, certain people, certain officials will definitely come to you and say, do your best, keep the streak going. So how do you deal with the pressure?
I think the way our team deals with the pressure, I guess, is a lot more informal. And I think it has to do with the fact that we see each other every day, that we are putting in the blood, sweat and tears every day. We just focus on the day-to-day that we need to do, and once in a while we are reminded of it, but it doesn't stay too long in your head when you got a tough training set that you got to survive through,
Okay. Coach Dejan, once the SEA Games are over, what will you be working on in 2020 with the team?
But definitely February we have the Asian Championship in Kazakhstan, which is also qualified for Olympic Games.
All right.
Anyway, the chances are not big for us in the tournament, but we want to expose ourselves to the biggest teams in Asia. And then in November to be Asian Swimming Championship also next year. So definitely that will be the two key competitions for the next year. Meantime, hopefully the core of this team will continue training with adding some new young forces from our youth squad. We are heading to complete the team for the next 2 to 3 years. Definitely SEA Games 2021 and Asian Games 2022.
Okay. Ting Ting, personally, what is your message to Singaporeans who have supported the girls and to see them finish second twice in the last 4 years? What is your message to them as we count down to Manila 2019?
Do continue to support us because it will be really exciting and really different this year. So stay tuned.
Kaya, I'm going to put you on the spot as well. What is your message as the vice captain of the team? You've just won the Challengers Cup. We are now 1 month to go before you begin the campaign. What is your message to the Singaporeans watching?
All of us training are definitely training to wear the flag proud, but at the same time, the way the community and the fans have supported us at our competition in Singapore has shown us that this moral support can really be the difference, right? The extra man in the stands for us, and we hope that even though it will not have the competition will not be at home, we hope that the support will follow us to Manila as well. Yeah.
And there you have it. The women's team captain, Koh Ting Ting. She was joined by our men's vice captain, Lee Kayang, and the head coach, Dejan Milakovic. Thank you very much for coming onto the very first edition of SG Sports Uncut. And of course, on behalf of everyone watching, we wish both teams the very best in Manila and continue to do Singapore proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of episode 1 of SG Sports Uncut. We wish our water polo players and our Cuesports athletes the very best at the coming SEA Games in the Philippines. And if you have any comments on the show, feel free to post them on our YouTube channel, that is the SG Sports TV YouTube channel, or drop us an email at sgsportsuncut@gmail.com. That's sgsportsuncut@gmail.com. Till the next time, I'm Raj Kumar. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.